me for my voice, but I have never seen anything like it.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Welcome back to the show. It's Andrew Zimmel, host as always. Very good episode today, talking to potential future Texas State quarterback Brady McBride about his travels from Memphis back to his home state of Texas and all of the up and downs in between. Also, a little bit of what he's been up to during this whole quarantine sesh, and some very wise words for a quarterback still very young in his career. So all that and more right now. All right, on the phone line right now, we have the potential starting quarterback for the Texas State Bobcats when the fall rolls around, when we all can get back out of our homes. We got Brady McBride on the show. Brady, what have you been doing to keep yourself busy, man?
Well, I've been playing a lot of golf. It's kind of my go-to right now. I'm trying to get real good. Me and my best friend, Clayton, he's a quarterback at Houston. We play probably like 2 or 3 times a week. We're on the range. We do workouts together, so almost like a little training camp with me and him.
That's pretty cool. So are you back near Houston? Is that where you're at right now, or are you still stuck in San Marcos?
No, actually, I played high school in Dallas area, Coppell to be specific, but once I graduated, my father took a job in McKinney, head coach of McKinney Boys. So we have a house my family has a house in McKinney that we're living at right now.
Very good. Well, I guess I'm going to start off with, I hope everybody's safe. Is everybody doing okay? Is COVID really shaking everything up?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely affects people differently, but I think we're in a pretty good position, my family specifically. So
That's
blessed for that.
That's what I was going to say. That's the first and foremost. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, blessed.
So before we get into all the football stuff, funny enough, you sat in front of me in pop culture studies. That class has been something off the wall, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah. Just finished, or not, I didn't finish. I did 2 to 3 questions today.
That's what we like to see. All right. I'm going to ask you, you come in the fall, come to Texas State in the fall, transferring from Memphis. I think a lot of fans around Texas State were wondering, why the move? Why come to Texas State?
Well, good question. I came to Texas State really, I didn't know I was going to transfer until like the day before I transferred. And so once that happened, I got thrown in the portal and everything. And it was just kind of a big blessing. I got called by Coach Spaff, talked to me, kind of asked my former coaches at Memphis, I guess, and supposedly they put in a good word and hit it right off. And I didn't want to look much further. It's in beautiful hill country of Texas, where I'm familiar with. I played a year of football in Dripping Springs, and so I know how beautiful the landscape is. And then kind of was buying what Coach Spaff was telling. Like, it was a really big potential at Texas State. I mean, it's not hard to recruit. It's a beautiful campus. Plenty of things to do. Like, it's not very hard to sell that place. So I believe in what Coach Spaff is building, and I wanted to be a part of it.
See, you would think that would be true, because I have bought into it as well. You know, I went to school here and everything, but it seems to me that it's Texas State's being more known for getting under-recruited or guys who might not fit in other places, and they come to Texas State, and then it seems like they gel. It seems like they fit pretty well into the community. They haven't been able to figure it out on the field yet. What changes have you seen so far from being at Texas State?
Well, when I first came in, I had a kind of weird. I didn't know if I was going to play. I didn't know if I was going to have to be ineligible. Well, I ended up being ineligible. And so my job was just to get the best look on scout team. So that's what I did. And I forgot the question, honestly. Repeat that.
So the main point of the question was going to be, what changes have you seen? But I think you kind of led me down a path here. The transfer portal. Okay, you come in.
Yeah.
You're one of the first names that I think Texas State's had since the transfer portal really has become a big thing. I think a lot of college football fans know about it now.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you?
It was weird because I was extremely naive as well. Like, I had no clue what I was about to get into. I hit the portal, and I have some D2s from like the directional schools in like Arkansas. Nothing against them, but I was like, oh my God, did I make a mistake? Like I wanted to get back to almost like a D1 at least, kind of the show. And so I was scared. And then I don't know, one thing led to another. I got a call from Texas State, and I was like, I needed to look no further. I wanted to be back home, close to my family. You never know how much you miss Texas until you leave it. And so that was a big factor. And then I just think I fit really well with what Coach Stab does, the quarterback position. And he kind of lets his quarterback do what they do best and really coaches to their strengths. And so I feel like I can give them some good strengths to work with.
So why leave Texas in the first place? Because you were recruited by schools in the state, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was committed to Rice, but you see me in the classroom. I'm nothing like that.
Oh, come on, man. Don't be too hard on yourself.
No, it just wasn't my fit, really. I've definitely matured since my first recruiting process. I was looking at totally different things. My first in high school, I was just looking at the best football program, like biggest stage almost, like, and my biggest offer was Memphis, and then so obviously I jumped on that and decommitted from Rice, and then a little later I got Indiana, but I wasn't wanting to play in that cold, and then I got Florida Atlantic, which really I didn't look too much into just because it was kind of late in the process, and I was pretty set with Memphis. So that time when I was going around the recruiting process, I was just looking for a big play, kind of like most high school kids. But then second time around, I really wanted like specific things in a college. But again, I couldn't be too choosy. It wasn't like I was a 5-star transferring. I was just a mid-major. But Texas State had everything I wanted in that, with being close, letting the quarterback run the show, and kind of Coach Stab has a known history for kind of playmaker quarterbacks, and I feel like I fit right in.
So what did the NCAA say to you? Because we'd been, as fans, as media members, we had no idea what the eligibility situation was going to be for you until the NCAA came down on one side. When they made that ruling to make you ineligible this season, what went into that decision on their part?
I think the biggest thing, because my angle was my grandparents, getting that close to my grandparents, because they were fatally sick. My grandma passed just this past year, and then my grandpa's got pretty bad dementia, and that was my angle going with it. And I think what really hurt me is there's a 100-mile radius, and that was about my grandparents were in a little outside of Houston, so I was like 130. So I think that kind of hurt. And then, that was probably the deciding factor, the biggest one, I think. I don't know. I'm not the NCAA.
Well, you made your case, and I'm sorry about your grandparents. But
yeah,
let's talk about Spav's offense, because you've only said good things so far. You're doing a really good job on that part. What does Spav's offense do for the quarterback? Because we've talked to him about it, how he's a quarterback whisperer, I think, around the country. What has he been whispering to you, Brady?
It's not like he's he's obviously coaching well and that kind of stuff. It's just the freedom he allows you to make mistakes almost and play how you play. Like, there's a lot of ego in college football, and not many coaches are willing to accept different ways. Like, it's either their way or the highway. And so really that, if I had to put a pin on it, it would be he adjusts to your playing style, and he works off of your strengths instead of just doing it his way every single time, which there's times for that. But quarterback's a very gray area position. Like, there's not one way to do it, and he understands that very well, and he preaches it, and he allows you to make mistakes and figure out what you are good at, and he really helps you grow off of that.
So I was burning the midnight. I was gonna say I was burning the midnight oils, trying to find huddle tape on you, trying to find out what I could get from Memphis when you declared to come to Texas State. For fans that are unlike me, who aren't 110% invested in Texas State football, what could you tell a casual fan that's going to show up on a Saturday afternoon about Brady McBride, the college quarterback?
I think I'm a very fun player to watch, regardless if it's bad or good. Like, I'm not going to be an orthodox cookie-cutter quarterback. I'm going to play my way, and that's what Coach Spav allows. And so with that, I think I'm a playmaker, creative, and I think that's what I bring to the table the most.
What was the thing that you learned the most from this season, having to do the scout team, having to kind of sit on the sideline and watch the team play some of these games?
Well, really, humbled me, I guess. I didn't play in Memphis. I played a couple games, and then I wanted to come play here, and then I got deemed ineligible. And so I just had to take a back seat, I guess, to football and focus on what other aspects of life I enjoy, and focusing a little bit more beyond football and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to find. Hobbies I like, reading, more to life than football. So that's what I just try to get out of it.
What's some books you've read? What are some things that you're reading right now that you're pretty invested in?
I'm not a huge reader, so it was an accomplishment for me to get back in the books. But actually, Coach Spav required the football team to go to the speaker named Damon West, which really changed my life. And he was incredible. He talks about his story. He had a really good childhood, went to go play at North Texas, was a star quarterback, and got into some bad things. And which I wouldn't say I was into bad things, but it was a low point for me not playing football, because that's all my life has been up to this point. And he kind of taught you the things in life that really matter, and it's not just football, and there's more to it than that stuff. And so I read his book. He partnered with John Gordon. It's called The Change Agent. He actually got sentenced to a life sentence in Beaumont, Texas, for some robberies he was in, meth and stuff like that. And he actually got out in 7 years. And it's all based on this story. He calls him Mr. Jackson, taught him the value of the coffee bean, which is, I don't need to go on too long about this, but it's a really good book. Coffee bean is going into prison. He's either going to be a carrot, hard-boiled egg, or a coffee bean. And he says prison is the boiling water. So the carrot goes in the boiling water, becomes soft, becomes hard, becomes soft and weak, and they get beat up and raped and all that stuff in prison. And then the hard-boiled egg joins like gangs, the swastikas, the Night Riders, all those gangs in prison. Just hardens his heart, hardens his life. And then the coffee bean changes the environment around him, turns the coffee bean into coffee, and really just changes the environment. It makes everyone around him better. And that's my biggest pickup from this offseason, probably, is all that, reading his book and his story. Really, really good stuff there. Life-changing, really, for me.
That's incredible, I think, because I had a high school football coach tell me that the best thing besides watching your kids grow up and getting married was Texas high school football. And at the time, I kind of didn't buy it. But I'll say this, that sports it can be life-changing, right? Like, this is it's a very good vehicle for people to become their best selves. It's also a vehicle for people to sometimes become their worst selves. So for you to say that you were able to grow and experience this growth and just do a little bit of reflection, not only during this quarantine, but like over the season, I think that shows maturity on your part for the first and foremost, Brady.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's very relevant, especially now in this time. Like, if you're an athlete and that's what that's what makes you, like, there's no sports going on in this time we're in right now. So I hope that's what a lot of athletes are doing, is finding that they're more than sports, from the sports they play, and that they can really do stuff beyond sports. But sports is definitely a great vehicle, like you said.
So going into this quarantine, okay, we had a couple of practices, right? You had a couple of reps with the team, correct?
Yeah.
How was that looking? How was the feel with the guys?
Awesome. It was awesome. You don't know how much you love stuff until you have it taken away. And so it was my first time competing in a while. And so I was loving it, having fun, enjoying it. I had new teammates that I try to help recruit here, like Brock and my buddies like that. I feel like we're just getting rolling. That's the sick part, man. It was fun. So I wasn't as excited as most people when I heard everything was getting canceled. I was excited to go home and see my parents, but I wanted to go through spring ball. We have a lot of stuff to work on, so I'm hoping we get some time back.
That's what I was going to say. It feels like, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, you might know better than I do, Brady, but from everything I've read, everything I've seen, it doesn't feel like the NCAA calendar has changed very much. Outside of kicking out the spring sports, ending basketball early, they have not made any big changes to the football schedule, have they?
Honestly, I don't even know. I'm just trying to control what I can control and do what I can and be ready for when it happens, because it's going to happen some point, I hope, God willing. But I just want to be ready when it is.
That's what you got to honestly continue to be prepared for. All right, so you're playing a lot of golf. You're doing a little bit of a training. I don't want to get too much into it with you, but a lot of film. You breaking down film? What are you doing here?
A little bit. We're trying to figure out how to work through these Zoom meetings and stuff. So, and the coaches are out recruiting right now. It's a really busy time recruiting, trying to develop the younger kids and get a name for ourselves out there. So we're working on that. But yeah, we're supposed to get in some meetings here pretty soon.
I got in this big argument with some of my friends earlier this year because I was talking about the legacy that you want to leave places. I was saying that, if you're going to do something, you want to be at the best at it. Okay? What is your legacy right now that you feel that young quarterback, it's the first full season you're going to get to actually be under center, going to get to play. What legacy are you trying to leave here at Texas State, even though it's a couple years away?
That's a good question, because if you asked me this a year ago, it would have been a totally different answer. But I don't really think of it like that. I just think of I want to bring a winning culture to the city, San Marcos, and I don't want to be looked at as like a little program. And because I even thought of that when I first got recruited. I was like, I want to make them a great program that people are excited about. I want to fill the stands and make people excited to go to the games, not just the tailgate. There's just stuff like that. I want to make I want to build a good culture around the city and the football program, and I want to win games. No matter how you do it. That's essentially what it is.
I was going to ask, what has your relationship been like with the fans of Texas State, being on campus? Because I did this interview earlier this year with Brian London. You might remember him, teammate.
Yep.
I was saying, I watched you walk around campus. I recognize who you guys are. Some other fans might recognize who you are. But for the most part, there's not this reverence that you have at other colleges. What has that relationship been like?
That's the biggest misconception ever.
Okay.
Unless you're at Bama or Oregon, there's no one going to do all that, like come up to you. I don't know. I'm a very average-looking person. I'm 6 foot, so it's not like I catch most people's eyes. I'm just walking around campus trying to get to class, so I'd never thought of myself as that. And I don't know. I've maybe had like 2 people come up to me, but nothing like you hear.
Yeah.
Nothing like you hear, for sure.
And that's always been my question.
That's okay, honestly.
What has the fan interaction been like for you? Like when you were on the quad trying to get drum up support, trying to get people to come to the games, is there that type of interaction? Is there, like, you're sitting in a chemistry class, you're sitting in a physics class, and somebody says, "Oh my God, it's Brady"? Like, is there any of that?
No. One of my academic counselors I was making a schedule with, she said her husband was a fan or something, but it's nothing like you think of, like, "Oh my God, let me do your homework for you." Like, that's not a thing, unless you're like, but like, I really haven't had much, because I've had a little on Twitter. I try to stay off Twitter because that doesn't really matter. But hasn't been much. I hope to have some. I hope to have a good turnout this season, and I hope to be able to bring some fans to the game and keep them there for a while.
That's what I'm hoping for too. As a media member, as a fanalist, I like to call myself. There is times where I was sitting in the student section and it was me and about 8 feet to the next person in that fan section.
Yeah, that's sad, but I understand. There hasn't been much winning yet, and I promise you that'll change real quick.
See, okay, now we got you on the record saying that things are going to change. We had Spav. That was his introductory press conference. He promised a lot of wins. All I'm saying is I'm not asking.
Talking doesn't do much, but I'm very confident.
See, and that's what I think we need to be looking for. That's the type of energy that we need around campus. All right, so season starts. Potentially, you're there. There's a big quarterback room this year. What has that fraternity been like in there?
Really, you would think it's very hostile, but there's a bunch of good guys in that room. Like Vitt, DJ, even Zeke from last year. Like they brought me in, like no jealousy or envious. Like they're just real down to earth men. Like I'm friends with them now, like golf and stuff like that. So it's not what you would think on a quarterback competition. Like real, like mean. Like of course everyone wants to be the starter. Like if you don't want to be, you shouldn't be there. But nothing, not toxic at all. It's really a good room. Make each other better.
That's another good thing. All right, let's talk about the chemistry between the wide receivers. Have you had any of that yet in practices, running the scout team? Have you gotten a little bit of reps with these guys?
Yeah, funny thing. Probably Blake, just because we were on scout. Blake Aragon, number 15. We were on scout team together last year, and a lot of guys I was on scout team with, like Chandler Spites and stuff, and so I kind of could feel it working in the spring, but I wasn't taking many ones reps or anything last year because I was ineligible and that'd be pointless. So that's what we need spring for. We need to build a chemistry. We need to have that trust and confidence in each other, and that's why I'm sad we're missing out on. But we got to work hard to get back to earn that.
What's the secret talent you got, Brady?
Say that again?
What's a secret talent you have?
I'm pretty gross in Fortnite.
Oh, okay, a big Fortnite player.
Yeah, I love video games, especially nowadays because you can't hang out with nobody. So all my buddies just get on Fortnite and we play together. And so that's really the best thing about it. Not necessarily that good. It's just fun hanging out with your friends and playing with your friends.
See, that's interesting. That's interesting to me because for the longest time, I used to do a lot of gambling, a lot of sports gambling. And the problem was that I never bought into the esports. Everybody would come on the podcast, they'd see me, and they'd say, like, are esports a sport? And I finally had, like, the answer of, if you like it, that's fine, it's a sport. Now, with that being the only thing available, I have now had to become a Twitch stream guy. I had to start watching some of these things because that's the entertainment I have now.
So you watch?
I got to. I have to figure out something. So whatever
you watch on the stream,
whatever is on that homepage, it's got to be first person shooter. I can't watch.
Do you watch athletes though?
Yeah, I watch some of the athletes.
I watched. I've been watching Kyler Murray. He's a funny guy. I like to see the personality of the athletes because you don't really get to, but I guess when they're streaming.
Yeah, the 2K tournament. The 2K tournament ESPN put on. I thought that was pretty. I didn't know how much I was going to be into it. Some of those guys kind of suck. Not going to lie, but yeah. I was intrigued. I'll put it that way. I was intrigued.
I haven't put on cable TV in a while. I've been stuck on Ozark.
Oh, we're going deep dive here. So big Bateman guy or what?
Say that again.
Are you a big Jason Bateman fan?
Big. I didn't even know his name till this show, but he's a smooth criminal. I like him.
All right, well, now we know that we got to get a season 4 of Ozark for you, and we got to figure out a way to get you on the Fortnite streams.
I'll be on. I'm BradMac6_.
All right, well now we need to figure it out. You got to post that on your Twitter, man. We're gonna make you.
I do. I might get a face cam.
Okay.
If I get some traction, we'll see.
You heard it here first, folks. That is the next step for Brady McBride. Brady, I hope you and your family can stay safe during this whole thing. And I'm more than excited for the college football season with you.
I'm excited. I appreciate you having me.
Of course. Thank you again to Brady for jumping on the pod with us. Thank you for you guys for supporting us and checking out our content. Be sure to check out Brady on the old Twitch channel. Hopefully we can get him a face cam so we can kind of see a little bit more of the behind the scenes of potentially one of the better athletes to come through Texas State. That's going to do it for the show. We got Alexander Haynes on later this week to talk to us about COVID-19. We didn't have him on last week, so you know there's a lot to discuss. Very excited for that as well. So check us out, check Brady out, and I will check you guys out tomorrow.